Let's be real for a second. Most brands are quietly, but definitely giving up on organic social media. Now, that might sound a little dramatic, but the data is pretty clear. They're pulling back, they're shifting their budgets, and they're basically treating organic posts like a lost cause. But what if they're not just losing the game? What if they're playing the wrong game entirely? Let's get into what's really going on here.
This right here is the harsh reality so many marketers have just accepted. You know the feeling. If your organic posts aren't going at least a little bit viral, your account is basically invisible. There's no middle ground anymore. You either break through the algorithm or you pretty much don't exist. It's super frustrating, and hey, if you felt that, you are definitely not alone. And it is not just a feeling. The numbers tell the exact same story. Almost 2/3 of marketers are actively decreasing how much they're investing in organic content. They've looked at the spreadsheets, they've seen the returns just tank, and they've decided to cut their losses. But the big question is, where is all that money going?
Well, it's being funneled straight into paid ads. We're seeing these huge jumps in ad spend across all the big platforms. Brands know the eyeballs are there, they just feel like the only way to reach them now is to pay for it. The logic seems to be, if you can't earn the reach, you just have to buy it.
Okay, and this is where it gets really, really interesting. This is the central paradox. Brands are retreating from organic, they're convinced nobody is seeing their stuff, but at the exact same time, people are spending more time on these platforms than ever before in history.
I mean, just look at these numbers. 35 hours a month on TikTok, 29 on Facebook, 28 on YouTube. The attention is there. The audience is absolutely there, glued to their screens. So you've got this massive captive audience, but brands feel like they're invisible. What's broken here isn't the platform, it's the playbook.
Right.
So the way brands used to win on social media, posting pretty product photos, running a few giveaways, and just hoping for some likes, that's completely over. Social media evolved, but for a lot of brands, the strategy just didn't.
This really shows the whole shift perfectly. We went from the TV era, where brands just talked at us, to the early social era, where they started talking with us. But now, we are deep in a co-creation era. The brands that are winning are the ones building with their audiences, not just marketing to them. It's a totally different relationship. So this leaves us with two ways to play the game. The old way, I call it post and pray. You treat your social feed like it's a digital billboard. You put up an ad and just cross your fingers that anyone sees it. The new way is to think like a TV network and build a show that people actually choose to watch. And here is exactly why that billboard method is doomed to fail. Nearly 95% of the time someone buys something, their journey involves multiple touch points. Nobody sees one post and instantly buys. Come on. They see you on TikTok, then they might search for you on Google, check your reviews, and maybe later see an ad on Instagram. If you're just a single lonely billboard in that journey, you're totally invisible. So what does it actually mean to act like a TV network? Well, it means you stop thinking like a social media manager who's just trying to fill a calendar, and you start thinking like a network executive who's programming a primetime lineup.
Here's the core idea. Instead of having one account that's just a confusing mess of product shots, memes, and company news, you create dedicated shows. These are recurring, consistent formats that train your audience to know exactly what to expect from you. It's about building a viewing habit, not just hoping for a random click.
Let's see what this looks like in the real world. Take the food brand Emmy Eats. They launched a totally separate account called Ramen on the Street. The concept? Super simple. Sit down with a stranger, share some ramen, and just talk about life. One format, one concept, and it pulls in up to 15 million views a month. It's a hit show.
Or how about Built Rewards, a fintech company of all things? They launched Roomies, which is basically a sitcom-style show about roommates in New York. It's funny, it's relatable, and it has almost nothing to do with credit card points. And the result? 150,000 organic followers who tuned in for every single episode.
And this even works for a local brick-and-mortar business. The cheese store of Beverly Hills created these episodic series, like finding the perfect cheese or capturing customers' first reactions. Now, people literally travel from all over the world to visit the shop in person. That's turning online views directly into foot traffic.
See, these aren't just one-off viral stunts. They are all built on a repeatable formula. So how do you actually build one of these hit shows? Well, it's not magic, it's a formula. And it really comes down to 4 key ingredients. Here they are. Every single successful show has a recurring format, a recurring theme, recurring characters, and a recurring set. When you nail all 4 of these, your content becomes instantly recognizable, and you start building a real viewing habit with your audience.
Let's put this formula into action with something like the Brooklyn Coffee Shop. Notice the elements. The set is always the coffee counter. The characters are the same two baristas. The format is a recurring short skit with a customer. You see one of their videos and you instantly know who it is. That's the power of this formula.
Okay, this brings us all the way back to the original problem. Remember all those brands just pouring money into ads because they felt like they had to? Well, this organic strategy is the key to making every single one of those ad dollars work so much harder.
This is it. This is the key takeaway. Your organic show isn't really meant to sell directly. Its job is to build trust, to build familiarity, and to build a relationship with your audience. It warms them up. Then when you run an ad, you're not talking to a stranger. You're talking to a fan.
And this creates this incredible synergy. Your organic show builds the trust. The ads are then shown to that warm, engaged audience, which dramatically lowers your customer acquisition costs. And suddenly, every single dollar you spend on advertising is more effective because the hardest part, building that initial trust, already happened for free. Think about it like this. Without a strong organic presence, every ad you run is a cold call. You are starting from absolute zero every single time. But with an organic show, you're not starting from zero. You're just hitting the accelerator on momentum you've already created.
So, this all leads to a very clear choice. It's not about whether you should do social media anymore. It's all about how you do it.
So here's the final verdict. Organic social media is not dead, not at all. But that old post and pray, billboard style approach, yeah, that is absolutely dead. The brands that get this shift are going to dominate, while everyone else just keeps paying more and more for less and less reach.
So the question I want to leave you with is a simple one. As you think about your own strategy, are you spending your time and energy building a temporary billboard that most people are just going to ignore? Or are you building a TV network that people will actually tune in to watch? The choice is yours.